A.J. Brown was one of the best rookie wide receivers in the NFL last year, and he is expected to be the main option for Ryan Tannehill and the 2020 Tennessee Titans. Many people know the name A.J. Brown, but many do not know his story and how he became one of the brightest young pass catchers in the league. In today's video, we will be talking about the rise of A.J. Brown and his NFL story. If you like videos like this, then you're going to love this channel, as I make videos just like this and all about football in general, so please take a quick moment and subscribe and help me reach 3K subscribers by the end of July. Be sure to share this video with your friends, drop who I should do next, and turn on post notifications so you never miss another upload. Now let's get started with the rise of A.J. Brown. In retrospect, most of us know that A.J. Brown went to Ole Miss for college, so it's crazy to think that he grew up in enemy territory, aka Starkville, Mississippi, the home of Mississippi State. He grew up a big-time athlete from the very beginning, but he originally didn't put his talents into the game of football. He played pee-wee football as a kid, but his real passion and talent came out when he played baseball. That was his sport, and football went to the back burner because of it. Eventually, he gave football another try in 8th grade, but he was the team's third-string receiver and the kicker, which hurt his spirits. He took a year off his freshman year of high school to focus on baseball, but going into his sophomore year, he was ready to give it one last try. He claims that his head was never in the game before, and now he's going to give it his all. He had a solid year, but he really broke out onto the scene his junior season, and he was becoming a big-time recruit. AJ was a workhorse, as there were many times that he'd be seen practicing alone on the field, and he actually practiced baseball so much that his coach had to put a code lock on the batting cages, because if not, he would not leave. AJ had a huge senior year, and coaches from all around the country came to Starkville just to see him practice. His baseball coach remembers how crazy it was because he said it was tough for them to practice baseball without some football coach trying to come talk to him. Brown delayed his commitment all the way until National Signing Day, and his final 3 schools were Alabama, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. In a somewhat surprising move, AJ committed to Ole Miss, and he was a traitor in the eyes of his hometown. According to 24/7 Sports, Brown was a 4-star recruit, the number 4 wide receiver, and the 36th best player in the class of 2016. Scouts like to compare Brown to Anquan Bolden, and he was ready to step in and play for the Rebels immediately. Not only was AJ amazing at football, but his baseball career was successful as well, as he was drafted in the 19th round as an outfielder by the San Diego Padres. Going into the 2016 college football season, the Rebels were in their 5th year under head coach Hugh Freeze, and they were in the heart of the NCAA investigations surrounding the program due to recruiting violations. Ole Miss returned a pretty talented offense that included Chad Kelly, Akeem Judd, and Evan Ingram, plus a pretty solid defense. The Rebels opened up the season on national television with a matchup against number 4 Florida State, and AJ caught his first career pass in an 11-point loss to them. Brown caught his first career touchdown against Wofford the following week, and he ended another one in their close loss to number 1 Alabama. After starting out 1-2, the Rebels needed a bounce-back game, and that came by way of a game against number 12 Georgia. Brown caught a then career-high 4 passes, and Ole Miss killed the Georgia Bulldogs. After a win against Memphis, the Rebels dropped a game to number 22 Arkansas and number 15 Auburn in back-to-back weeks. From there, they defeated number 8 Texas A&M, but they lost their last 2 games, including the Egg Bowl, and went 5-7 because of it. It's not like they would have been able to play in a bowl anyways due to the investigation, but the season would have gone a lot smoother had Chad Kelly not gone down with a season-ending injury. On the year, AJ caught 29 passes for 412 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nothing spectacular, but he was a young star in the SEC. Going into the 2017 season, Hugh Freeze was let go due to all his issues, and Matt Luke was promoted to head coach. Ole Miss was expected to be solid, and AJ did not hold back in his first game of his sophomore year. Against South Alabama, Brown caught 8 passes for 233 yards and 2 touchdowns. He followed that game up with 156 yards and 2 more touchdowns, and he had become Shea Patterson's main target. In their 66-3 loss by way of Bama, Brown only caught 1 pass, and it's safe to say he wasn't the only one who struggled that day. In their loss to Auburn, he caught a career-high 10 passes, but it wasn't enough for them to win. He caught 174 yards and 2 touchdowns in their game over Vanderbilt, but they dropped their next 2 games to LSU and Arkansas. After a close win over Kentucky, AJ had a huge game against Louisiana Lafayette, as he caught a career-high 14 passes for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns in what became a career day for him. They lost a close game to Texas A&M, and Brown caught 167 yards in a win over their rival, number 14 Mississippi State, and people called him the mayor of Starkville after that. The team ended up going 6-6, but they didn't go to a bowl game due to their self-imposed postseason ban. On the year, AJ had a huge season as he caught 75 passes for 1,252 yards and 11 touchdowns en route to becoming a member of the All-SEC first team. After the season, Brown became known as one of the best wide receivers in college football, and many believed he could be the first receiver taken in the 2019 NFL Draft. All that separated AJ from the NFL was his junior year. He also won the Connerly Trophy, which is an award given to the best football player in the state of Mississippi. Going into his junior year, the Rebels would have to find a new quarterback as Shea Patterson transferred to Michigan. In case you guys haven't seen it yet, I actually made a video about what happened to Shea Patterson, so go ahead and check that one out after you finish this one. I'll leave a link down in the description. The new quarterback was going to be Jordan Ta'amu, and the running back was Scotty Phillips, and they also had weapons such as DeMarcus Lodge, DK Metcalf, and Dawson Knox to throw the ball to. The Rebels were picked to finish 6th in the SEC West, and they won their first game against Texas Tech. In that game, Brown caught 7 passes for 93 yards and a touchdown, and he started out the year strong. He caught nearly 200 yards and 2 touchdowns against Southern Illinois, but they had a huge matchup week 3 against Alabama. In that game, Ole Miss scored on their first drive, but then proceeded to give up 62 points in a blowout loss. The Rebels won 3 of their next 4 games with wins over Arkansas, Louisiana Monroe, and Kent State, but Brown wasn't exactly putting up big numbers, but that would soon change. In a loss versus Auburn, he caught 10 passes for 155 yards and a touchdown, and he started to look like his normal self again. He caught over 100 yards in their next 2 games, but they lost to both South Carolina and Texas A&M. Even 9 catches for 212 yards and a touchdown wasn't enough to stop the losing skid, as they lost another game to Vanderbilt in overtime. They had one more chance to get to 6 wins and make a bowl game, but they would have to beat their arch-rival Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl in order to do so. The game wasn't even close, and this time, Mississippi State got the last laugh. With that loss, AJ would never play in a bowl game, and it was now time for him to leave for the NFL. He caught 85 passes for 1,320 yards and 6 touchdowns his junior year, and he was named to the first team All-SEC again. He was expected to be a day 1 or day 2 pick in the NFL Draft, but despite doing well in the Combine, he slipped to day 2 of the draft and was taken with the 51st overall pick in the second round by the Tennessee Titans. Joining a receiving corps that included Corey Davis, Tajay Sharp, Adam Humphries, and Darius Jennings, Brown was expected to be a starting wideout from the very beginning. Going into the season, the Titans were one of those teams that were expected to be mediocre and maybe grab a wildcard spot at best, as the Colts and the Texans were expected to compete for the division. In their Week 1 matchup with the Browns, AJ set the tone for his rookie year with 4 catches for 100 yards. 3 games later, AJ caught his first career 2 touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons, and Brown had quickly become one of the better young rookie wide receivers in the NFL. He was kind of mediocre for the middle chunk of the season, but he had his first huge game against the Jaguars as he caught 4 passes for 135 yards and a touchdown. He then had back-to-back huge games with 5 more catches for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Raiders, and 8 catches for 114 yards and a touchdown in a close loss to the Texans. In their Week 16 rematch with the Texans, the Titans needed to win that game to secure their playoff spot, and a road game in Houston is never easy. In the biggest game of the year to that point, AJ caught 4 passes for 124 yards and a touchdown in their blowout win. Because of that, the Titans became the 6th seed in the AFC, and their first round matchup was in Foxborough against the New England Patriots. The game remained close the entire time, but a late pick 6 punctuated their improbable upset. Then, they managed to go on the road and beat the Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens, and now the Titans were the Cinderella team of the playoff. In those 2 games, Brown didn't really do much, as he only caught 2 combined passes for 13 yards. Now they were set to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and if they won that, they were obviously headed to the Super Bowl. They kept it a game, but Mahomes and the Chiefs were just too good for them, and the Titans' magical run was over. After the thrilling postseason run, Brown was able to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark, and he was becoming a bright young star. For his rookie year, AJ caught 52 passes for 1,051 yards and 8 touchdowns, with a 20 yards per catch average. He was named to the Pro Football Writers Association All-Rookie First Team, and many thought he was one of the best rookie wideouts in the league. Going into 2020, I fully expect him to take on the wide receiver 1 role on the team and replace Corey Davis as that guy. Overall, AJ Brown has had a pretty cool story, and I'm happy that I got a chance to share it with you guys today. I remember watching AJ at Ole Miss, and he was one of my favorite players in college football. I picked up Brown on my fantasy team last year, and it was also super neat to see the Titans make the playoff run, especially that Patriots game. If you think AJ's story was cool, or that he is a future star, be sure to smash that like button and show him and this channel some support. If you have a certain player you would like me to do next, drop it in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and help me reach 3K subscribers by the end of July. If you are still here though, check out my video about the rise of another young star receiver in Terry McLaurin and my other NFL player story videos. Until next time though, peace.